how to assemble the 3D shoebox that I have for sale on Etsy. Now I am using Cricut Design Space, however if you are a Silhouette user, please follow along with this video as the process is still the same. Just ensure that you're using the DXF file for Silhouette and the SVG file for Cricut. So open the layer onto your mat. Now you will notice I have included 3 different options with your purchase. In each of the DXF, PNG and SVG files, you'll see 3 different files. One of them is the whole file, which I have here, and you'll see the box is made up of one individual layer. The second one is the split file, and I've actually split this layer in 2, which will allow you to make them slightly larger. And the third one is a box that has a separate lid. So rather than the lid being attached and folding downwards, you can just simply lift the entire lid off and then put it back on again. I have resized this to 11.5 inches, which will fit a 12 by 12 inch mat. However, should you want to resize them if you do have a larger mat, just select both layers, lock your padlock and then change the height. Don't touch the width, it will automatically change that for you. Next, we need to change our score layers, and it doesn't matter which of the 3 files you're using, this process will be the same for each of the 3. So select your score layer. If you have multiple score layers, select all of them. Go ahead to Operation and change it to Score. And we then need to attach both the score lines and the box file. Now what's important is if you are using one of the other files and you have multiple different parts to your box, only attach the score line to the part that it's associated with. So if you have 2 of these layers, for example, let's just say that this was 2 different options, attach this score line to this piece and this score line to this piece. If you go ahead and just attach everything, you are going to be restricted to one mat. So just make sure that if you are using the other 2 files, that you only attach the score lines to the layer that it's associated with. So I'm going to select these 2 options here because we only have 1 layer and 1 score line. And I'm going to go ahead and attach. So now I can move everything around, and when I come to cut them out, it's going to score over the top of my box layer. You can now go ahead and decorate them. So by all means, you can go into Cricut Design Space images and you can add any image that you like, rainbows, flowers, etc. If you are wanting to do a branded logo box, unfortunately I can't supply the logos as it is copyright. However, if you go onto Google, search for any logo that you like, most of them are blank logos on a white background. Upload it into Design Space, remove the background, and you can go ahead and decorate them that way. So I have gone ahead and I've got some logos from Google and I have added them onto my Design Space grid. So I have one that I've put here for the side. So this is the top, this is the bottom, and this is the side, although it doesn't really matter too much. I've then got this one here and I've just sliced it just to create this little circle cut out here. And I'm going to put one on the side as well. Now one thing that I do include in the purchase is a sticker that can be customized. So I have just added text that says add your own text just to show you what you can do. However, before you attach it, you simply use the text feature, type the text that you like, lay that over the top of your sticker, and then make sure you select everything and flatten it, and you'll then have a sticker like I have here. So I'm going to pop that over my box and I'm going to put it on one of the sides here. So I'm just going to resize it to fit. Now these 3 logos here, I am actually going to cut out with cardstock because they are quite basic. So I'm going to set those to basic cuts. And I'll set my sticker, because it's a little bit more complicated, I'm going to set that as print and cut, and I'm going to use my printer to cut that out. So once you're done, you can go ahead and click on Make It. I'm going to go ahead and cut these out and I'll come back to you with the assembly portion of this video. Now that we've cut out the layers, we can go ahead and assemble them. So the first box that I'm going to be making is the whole box file, which is the one singular individual layered file. If you're making the split file, which is the same file but broken into 2, or the separate lid file, skip this part of the video and I'll go ahead and make those in just a moment. So first things first, you want to go ahead and fold over your score lines. So if you are using a textured cardstock like myself, I'm going to actually turn it around so that the textured cardstock is facing down, because I want to make sure that the best texture is on the outside. And then just go ahead and fold all of your score lines over. I'm going to lay it flat, and I'm going to actually use the bottom facing me. So the bottom portion of the box is the piece that has these two sticking out square pieces with the circles. So I'm going to lay it in this direction. And then this is the top. So everything below my hand is the bottom of the box. And I'm actually just going to be using tape to do this, because we don't need loads of glue. So first things first, apply some tape or glue to this layer right here. Then you want to apply some to the ends of these pieces here. And then we can start to assemble this part. So first things first, fold these two pieces inwards slightly, lift it upwards, and then bring this piece up as well. So you see we're starting to create a box. Now these pieces here may get in your way, so what I tend to do is just fold them backwards, and that way when we come to assemble this part, it's not so difficult. So take this piece right here, fold it inwards, take the opposite piece and bring that inwards so that the tabs are facing in. Bring these two side pieces up, and I'm going to turn it now to one side and just simply fold that edge over and hold it down. Next, turn it around to the other side, push those little tabs in, bring that edge up, and then fold that top tab over. Now you want to be as accurate as you can on this, because if your edges are sticking out like this, then it's kind of not going to work as well. So push them in, put that tab over the top, and then before you go ahead and push it down, just make sure those sides are like pushed in, and then pinch. Okay, and this piece here just simply folds inwards for decoration. So now we've done the bottom of the box, I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to do the similar thing on this side as well. So first of all, apply some glue onto the front of this here. So bring up your edges, and then these two tabs right here fold inwards. Take this end piece, bring it over those tabs. Again, before you push it down, just get these edges lined in so that they are as tight as possible, and then pinch your finger to secure them in place. And then these two edges here are just pinch them down. They don't hold anything in place. You can just pinch them inwards, and then that is your box completed. Now these little curved pieces here, if you start pulling them out like this when you close it, you'll see that they'll start to stick out slightly. So just push them in a little bit, and just be careful when you close the box to not pull those, and then just close it down, and there you have your shoebox file. Next, I'm going to make the separate lid box file. So this is the option that has the lid that comes off the box, and again we've got two separate layers here. So we have one layer which has two opposite sides, and then these two long pieces sticking out, and then we have the piece that has the little tabs here. So I'm going to put this piece to one side, and we're going to start with the bottom of the box, and we're just going to, again, the same as before, just fold all of your score lines over, and then start in it either this way or this way, doesn't matter which way around you do it. Again, I'm going to get some tape, and I'm going to apply it to this long piece right here. I'm also going to do the same on the opposite side, and then just on the edges of these end pieces as well. Next, you want to just take these end pieces right here, and you can just fold those down. Bring these edges in, push the tabs inwards. I'm going to turn it to the side, and I'm going to lift this edge up, folding the tab over to secure the two. Again, before you pinch it down, just make sure that your edges are completely in and straight. And don't worry if you do it wrong. As long as you don't pinch too hard, you can always just undo it and move it around. Same on the other side, so push those 2 tabs in, lift the edge up and fold that tab over. We then have the top, so fold your score lines. Now these 2 edge pieces here on the very ends, we can apply some glue to those and we can just stick those down. We don't need to fold them over or anything. Then we want to apply some glue over to the whole of these end pieces. So fill that with glue or tape. And then the same on the opposite side as well. Bring your edges up, fold your tabs inward, like so. And then just take that end piece, fold it over the 2 tabs, and then pinch it in place. And repeat that on the opposite side as well. And that's your lid, so we can just simply take that box, pop the lid on, and we have our second shoebox. The third option, which is the split option, is the same as our first option, except it's split into 2. So we have the bottom piece, and again, that's the piece that has the 2 opposite sides and the long pieces that stick out. And then this piece right here, which has the tabs, is the lid. So I'm going to put that to one side, fold over my tabs. So again, same as before, what we want to do is we want to glue this end piece right here. Same on the opposite side. And that can just fold over and stick down. Doesn't need to hold anything in place. Pop some glue on the edges of these end pieces right here. Left and right. Bring up these edges, turn it to the side, push that tab inwards, and then again just lift up this edge piece and fold it over your tabs to secure them in place. And then do the same on the opposite side, so fold your tabs in, lift the end up and just fold it over to secure it in place. Now it is actually going to be attached to the lid, so the lid will fold over, but we'll do that in just a moment. So take the top of the lid, fold your score lines over. Now ignore this piece right here. This is actually the piece that's going to attach to the bottom of the box, and that's the big rectangle. You can see the opposite sides broken into 2. So ignore that piece and have it facing this way with the tabs facing towards you, these 2 here, right here. And so what we're going to do is apply some glue to these which have the cut out circle. And you can just fold those down. They don't need to go over any tabs, so just fold them in. It just gives the box a little bit more strength. And then we want to bring this piece, bring the sides inwards, and you've only got 2 tabs on this piece. So fold the tabs in, apply some glue to this piece right here. Only the front half, don't apply it to the bottom half. So only up to the fold. Put those sides in and then again fold it over. And that's going to create your lid. Now what we can do is, the reason I've left this separate is you can actually of course make them slightly larger. However, I have made them the same size just for this video, but it's in 2 parts so you can make them slightly larger. So we have our lid and we have the bottom, but we need it to fold. So that's what this piece right here is for. So we're going to glue it onto the back. You can glue it inside, however, your box is going to be slightly off, then it's not going to be as tight. So lay this flat like I have here, the rectangular piece facing you and the sides facing upwards, and cover this whole layer in glue or tape. And then take your box, just depending on which is your front or back, it doesn't really matter as long as you haven't decorated them yet. And just lay that, or if we bend this over slightly, we can just attach that to the back, like so. And then I'm just going to lay it flat and put some pressure on that to make sure it's fully stuck. And then you have a lid that you can fold over, and you've created another box. So similar process, but we've just had to attach that lid to the back of here.